Welcome back. You're watching the Fox Business Network. We're coming into the bottom of the hour. With me now, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano. Colonel, it's great to have you back on. Florida Governor Ron Desantis yesterday unveiled a sweeping effort to stop China in Florida, saying the Chinese Communist Party's attempts to influence America is one of the most pervasive threats to security here in the United States. He's positioning himself for a 2024 run. What do you say?
Well, let's put the politics aside and just talk about the substance of the issue. So, obviously, foreign policy is kind of an executive branch thing, but states have a responsibility to look after the consumers and citizens in their states. And the Chinese are involved in the United States in many different ways. So it's perfectly appropriate for a governor saying, how are the citizens, the students, the consumers, the business in my states being affected by practices? And are there things under state law that I can do about that? You know, we often talk about this is why we have a federal system. The states are the laboratories of democracy. They should be innovative, particularly where the federal government has really dropped the ball. So, you know, China's a great example. Look at investments in Chinese universities where the federal government, by their own reporting, says universities are underreporting by billions the amount of money that foreign countries, including China, are investing on universities. If the federal government can't deliver on that, that's an area where states should step in and have greater clarity.
Yeah, Governor DeSantis is worried that's happening in Florida. Let's watch Governor DeSantis here. Watch this.
State agencies, state universities, local governments, and public schools never use tax dollars to establish language and culture programs with foreign governments that place the interest of those governments ahead of our own interest. With our proposal today, we will ensure that no such organization is able to regain a foothold in any Florida institution of higher education.
He's proposing also stiff penalties and fines. Your reaction?
Well, let's look at language as a good example. People would say, well, the Chinese want to pay to teach us Chinese. What's wrong with that? And there's actually a big problem with that. China is a very complex language. And if the Chinese government is directing the Chinese instruction, they're teaching you the language they want you to think about it, to understand words in their term. So it actually could be quite subversive. So I think on this issue, big tech's another where the governor has jumped in. I think it's the right thing. And, you know, back to your point about, is there a civil war among conservatives? You know, actually, let's put the personalities aside. There are issues that all conservatives share in common. Concern about China is one. Big tech, another one the governor's taken on. Immigration and border security. There are things that really unite us all.
Yeah, and you know, so you and I have talked about this. China's been thought to trying to get into the U.S. power grid, to get into the 5G telecom network, to get into universities where, you know, some universities in the U.S. have been thought to not be able to talk about Hong Kong's democracy movement. And then there's this. You watch what's going on in India. There's a study out there that says that China actually did shut down the power grid. China shut down the power grid, allegedly, in Mumbai, shutting down power to hospitals and the stock market because of the border clash between India and China. And China is thought to be hacking into India's drug companies in order to get vaccine research. Your final word on that.
So India's figured this out. They know that China is the problem. They're banning apps like night and day. They're looking at business practices. They're looking at Chinese malicious intrusion into their networks. India takes this really seriously because they're next door. But here's the problem. Everything China's doing in India, they're doing in the United States.
Well, we got to stay on this. Colonel, you'll come back soon, and thanks for your service to our country. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.